everybody, welcome to Excel video 425. I'm Nate Moore. Talked to a group in Texas just last week that said, hey Nate, we want to do a whole bunch of contract analysis, but our reimbursement guy doesn't have the data. So we pulled a bunch of data around how many times which CPT code had been billed to which payer, when, and how, and all that good stuff, and help them get better contracts. If I can help your practice do the same, I'd love to pull that data for you. We're going to play a little bit more with looping. Remember last time we were able to go down, 10 rows or 30 rows or whatever. The problem with going down 10 rows or 30 rows is if the number of rows changes from day to day or week to week or month to month, you have to go fix your macro every time. You don't want to do that. In a perfect world, what the macro would do is it would figure out how many rows you have and then go from there. In fact, what it would do is you'd do end and then the down key to get to the end of the data, end and then the down key. You'd go all the way to the very bottom of your spreadsheet, row 1,048,576. And then what you would do is hold down the end key and the up arrow, and you'd find the first non-blank row, and it'd say, hey, you know what? Run the macro until you get to row 100. The way to write that code is just one line, and it looks like this. What we're going to do is we're going to create a variable called findEnd. What we want to do is find the end of our data. So findEnd is equal to cells rows.count, .1.end XLUp.row. What on earth does that mean? Briefly, cells we played with before. We played with cells up here. It's just rows and columns. So what row do we want? The rows.count, the very bottom row of our spreadsheet, that 1,048,000 row that we were starting in. So go to rows at the very, very bottom of our spreadsheet, column 1, because that's where our data is. Go to the very bottom row and the first column of our spreadsheet. When you get there, this end XLUp is just like holding down the end key and the up arrow, and tell me what row that is. Assign all that stuff to findEnd. So for C equals 1 to findEnd, we're not going to go from 1 to 30 or whatever, we're going to go to findEnd. And when we get to that end row, what we're going to do is we're going to loop through and say, hey, if the value in the row we're in the second column, column B, is greater than 30, then go over to column C, column 3, and make the value of that cell high value call patient. So what I'm trying to do is say, hey, you know what, if it's over 30, I want to call the patient, and I want to start at the top, I want to go until I run out of data, look at the second column in my data, and if it's over 30, then in the third column, print this. So let's run it. What we're going to do is find the end. We're going to run from the first column to the end, and we're going to go look at the value in the second column. We're going to go to the first column and see where the end is. We're going to go to the second column and see what the value is, and we're going to go to the third column and print this text if the value is over 30. That's the game, and we're going to run that code, and let's come back over and see what happened. So here's what we've got. High value call patient, high value call patient. This is 20. It's not a high value. We're not going to call the patient. You see how we did that? We were able to go all the way through and loop to the bottom and know what the bottom is without having to go in and change the code and say, hey, I've got 100 patients today, but only 20 tomorrow. That's the key and the trick I wanted to show you in this Excel video. It's this one line of code right here. And then once we've defined that variable findEnd, we'll just loop for 1 to findEnd and then next C, and away we go. That's what I wanted to show you in this Excel video. Stay tuned. Next time what we're going to do is make things a little bit more complicated and have a loop inside of a loop. We're going to nest loops, show you how that might help you in the next Excel video. Thanks for watching.